Good morning, everyone. Please do not adjust your picture. It is Olivia here on a Tuesday. I'm covering for David. So I'm your host, Olivia Cohen, coming in live from Niederfner Judaica Museum here at the Hebrew Home. And this is Good Morning Hebrew Home. Today is Tuesday, September 1st. We have entered the month of September. It went by really quickly. The time is 10:32 a.m. and we have a great show planned for you today with some armchair travel. And we're heading to Alaska. So let's get into the news. Let's take a look at the weather in our neck of the woods. Today will be mostly cloudy, a stray shower or thunderstorm is possible, and temperatures will be high, 79 degrees. Let's move to this day in history, September 1st, 1972. American Bobby Fischer becomes the world chess champion in Reykjavik, Iceland, defeating Boris Spassi of the Soviet Union. He had become the youngest United States junior chess champion at 13 years old, followed by the U.S. championship at age 14, and many consider him to be one of the greatest natural talented chess players ever. Same day, September 1st, 1999, a personal one hit home for me. T.Y. Warner Toys announces that their website on December 31st, Beanie Babies will be retired. I don't know if anybody remembers Beanie Babies. I had more than 100. And that's what happens when your uncle owns a toy store and your parents really get on the bandwagon with you of collecting something. I have a lot of Beanie Babies. They're in my attic. Together with the announcement, a small pint-sized black bear called The End, I didn't know any of this, is announced. Following continued consumer demand, T.Y. Warner changes his mind, Ty Warner, and Beanie Babies are still made to this day, which I also didn't know, but I won't be buying any time soon. A few things about this month. This one is specifically for Lisa, our Thursday host. It is Sourdough September. So anybody who's into any YouTube watchers or anybody who loves bread and sourdough making, this is your month. It's Friendship Appreciation Month. It's also Read a Good Book Month. So anybody who wants some books, let us know. If you have an interest in some books, give your TAP person a call and we'll see if we can help you out with getting some books. I know we have a lot of readers here. It's also Sewing Month. So anybody who likes sewing, this is your month. Honey Month, Chicken Month, Piano Month. It's just a lot of random months. It's also Happy Cat Month. So hope my cats are happy this month. And today, specifically, I think last month we had Black Cat Appreciation Day. Today is Ginger Cat Appreciation Day. Those are the orange ones. They're very cute. So that's it for September. Let's talk about some famous birthdays. There were two and I couldn't pick. We have Rocky Marciano. He was born September 1st, 1923 in Massachusetts. And he was known... Oh, we have a call. I'm going to pick up the phone. Good morning, Hebrew Home. How can I help you? No, this is the morning show, but you're live on the morning show. If you turn on channel 8, you can watch yourself on the phone right now. You're welcome. I have the phone here, so if anybody would like to call in while we do our armchair travel today, the number is 1526. I should have put that on speaker. 1526. And you can call in and join us for our armchair travel. Again, just pick up your phone and dial 1526. That's our in-studio line, and you can join us today. So, Rocky was the world heavyweight boxing champion from September 23rd, 1952, when he defeated Jersey Joe Walcott in Philadelphia and announced his retirement April 22nd, 1956. During his career, he defeated all newcomers, including Archie Moore and Joe Louis, and he still remains the only heavyweight champion in boxing history to have 49 wins, including 43 knockouts, and to retire having won every fight in his professional career. So, any boxing fans out there, that was a little tidbit of information. Also today, Gloria Stefan, who was born in Havana, Cuba in 1957. She is a Cuban-American Grammy Award-winning singer and songwriter. During her career, she has won 7 Grammys and started as a member of the group Miami Sound Machine. And they had a series of Hot 100 Top 10 hits, including Anything for You, Rhythm is Gonna Get Ya. And in 1988, she became known as a solo artist with the Miami Sound Machine as her backing group. And her solo hits include Don't Wanna Lose You, Coming Out of the Dark, and Music of My Heart. That one was with NSYNC. I love that one. And she has also been successful as an actress in appearing in For Love or Country, the Arturo Sandoval story. So those are our celebrity birthdays for today. Resident birthdays, happy birthday to Angel R. Our staff birthdays, happy birthday to Donna from nursing, Joyce from nursing, and our very own Lisa Murray, Thursday host from Therapeutic Arts and Enrichment Programs. Happy birthday to all. Today's lunch will be garden vegetable soup, beef and pasta for entree, and applesauce for dessert. Dinner will be minestrone soup, eggplant parmesan linguine with garlic olive oil, and our dessert will be an orange sorbet. So that leads us into our armchair travel for today, which was put together by our very own David F., our producer on the show here. I'm going to invite him to join us a little bit for this, to talk about some of this, but I guess I will get started with just telling you guys where we are going. We're going to Alaska, and this is David's trip. His own pictures that we've talked about previously. He takes a lot of pictures. David, why don't you join us? So we'll talk a little bit about this trip.
Thanks very much.
Thank you for putting this together.
Appreciate it. It was a lot of fun. It was 20 years ago almost, and it was a lot of fun reminiscing and taking a look at the pictures that we took way back when.
Yeah, I love looking at the pictures.
And it was hard getting it down to only 10.
Yeah, I could imagine.
We had hundreds.
Wow. I mean, the pictures are amazing, and just reading about Alaska was amazing, too. So this trip was how long ago?
2002.
Wow.
Friend's 50th birthday.
That's great. So why don't you just join us, and feel free to pop in and share anything from your personal trip that you experienced, and I'll read kind of what you put together here for me, all about Alaska, which is really great stuff that I didn't know. So we have a map behind us here, and I'll get into the history of Alaska. So Alaska is the largest U.S. state by area and the 7th largest subnational division in the world. It is the least populous and the most sparsely populated state, but by far the continent's most populous territory, located mostly north of the 60th parallel. I looked up what the 60th parallel was, and it's anything that's 60 degrees north of the equator. So going up, anything that gets into that cold area. And it has an estimated population of 738,000, I always mess up numbers, 432, as of 2015. My gosh, brain stops working. Approximately half of Alaska's residents live within Anchorage. Which parts did you go to that we'll be seeing today?
Sure. We started at Anchorage. We took a train up to Denali, which is the big giant, the biggest mountain up in the northeast.
Okay.
And then we took another train down to a city called Seward. And then we picked up the cruise, and we took the cruise to Icy Straits and Ketchikan, and then ended up down in Vancouver, down in British Columbia.
That's amazing. You can kind of see that all on the map that's over there. While it is one of the smallest state economies, let me do this part. Alaska was occupied by various indigenous people for thousands of years before the arrival of the Europeans. The state is considered the entry point for the settlement of North America by way of the Barren Land Bridge, which is the land between the Lena River in Russia and the Mackenzie River in Canada. And so this Russia was sold to the U.S. in 1867 for $7.2 million US, which is approximately 2 cents per acre. And it was admitted as the 49th state in the U.S. on January 3rd, 1957. While it's one of the smallest state economies in the country, Alaska's per capita income is among the highest, owing to a diversified economy dominated by fishing, natural gas, and oil, all of which it has in abundance. The United States Armed Forces bases and tourism are also a significant part of the economy. And more than half of the state is federally owned public land, including a multitude of national forests, parks, and wildlife refuges, where we will all see on here. So why don't we zoom in and take a moment, close your eyes, and we will enter into Alaska. So this is Denali, aka Mount McKinley, and this is a photo that you took.
Yes.
It's great.
We were as close as you could get to there without going hiking.
Wow.
Up the mountain. It's a huge park and it's a hugely protected area, but it's beautiful.
And so Mount McKinley is its former official name. It's the highest mountain peak in North America, with a summit elevation of 20,000 feet above sea level. It's the third most prominent and third most isolated peak on Earth. And the Koyukon people who inhabit the area around it have referred to the peak as Denali for centuries. Yeah, so you were across, and there's water in between there.
Yes.
It's beautiful. In 1903, James Wickerson recorded the first attempt at climbing this mountain, which was unsuccessful. And then in 1906, Frederick Cook claimed the first ascent, but his ascent is unverified and its legitimacy is questioned. But the first verifiable ascent to the summit was achieved on June 7, 1915 by climbers Hudson Stuck, Harry Karstens, Walter Harper, and Robert Tatum, who went by the South Summit. So that's pretty cool, and that is magnificent to see. Our next slide, wow, this is my favorite slide. This is dog sled training.
Yes, when we were there in the middle of June. There wasn't a whole lot of snow around, but they have to train the dogs all year long. So they put them on sleds and they take you around and they drive you almost like little carts.
Wow, that's
and
amazing.
It's my wife and her friend looking at little puppy dogs.
So they train them all there from pups, and it looks like well, dogs have like pack-like mentality, so they all kind of just follow each other.
Exactly, if we'll follow the lead dog.
That's amazing. And so sled dogs have been used in the Arctic for the last 9,000 years and were important for transportation in Arctic areas until the introduction of trucks, snowmobiles, and airplanes in the 20th century. They're hauling supplies in areas that were inaccessible by other methods. These dogs were used in varying success in explorations of both poles as well as the Alaskan gold rush. Sled dog teams delivered mail to rural communities in Alaska, Yukon, Northwest Territories. And sled dogs today are still used by some rural communities, especially in the Alaska and Canada, as well as much as Greenland. Right now they're used for recreational purposes and racing events such as the Iditarod Trail and the Yukon Quest, which is really cool. And is it always Huskies?
Yes, I think almost all of them that we saw were that same breed.
That's beautiful. I love Huskies. Okay, our next slide is the Exit Glacier. So this is also a photo that you took. And did you have to hike up to the point that you just took that picture?
No, this was right off the side of the road. And
wow.
The glacier they're very much receding, a lot related to global warming or just cycle changes. But the biggest thing that was amazing is that you could see that the ice looks blue, and that's because of the way that the blue light's reflected off of the white ice, the clear ice.
Yeah, that's so amazing. This glacier is derived from the Harding ice field in the Kenai Mountains of Alaska, and one of the Kenai National Park major attractions. It's one of the most accessible valley glaciers in Alaska. And it's a visible indicator of glacial recession, like you were just saying, due to climate change. The glacier retreated approximately 187 feet from 2013 to 2014, and scientists continue to monitor and record it. It received its name for serving as the exit for the first recorded crossing of the Harding ice field in 1968. So the blue ice occurs when snow falls on a glacier, is compressed, and becomes part of the glacier. In glaciers, the pressure causes the air bubbles to be squeezed out, increasing the density of the created ice. And then as the glacial ice melts, you can hear the popping of many air bubbles trapped for centuries. That's really cool.
I think there's a picture coming up. We have actually a piece in our hand.
Oh, wow, there it is.
On the left,
wow, that is
actually
very
a piece
blue.
of glacier that was just found in the middle of the river, and as you pick it up, it sounds almost like soda pop. It's just crackling and popping.
That's amazing. So this is here. This is the exit glacier. You can see David and your wife holding that piece of ice there, and it is very blue. I hope you guys can kind of see it on your TVs, how blue it is, but it is pretty blue. Okay, our next slide is glacial calving. So cows have calves, and glaciers have calve icebergs. This is cool, which are chunks of ice that break off glaciers and fall into water.
That may be about the next slide, but this slide you can actually see, yeah, that's what you're talking about,
okay.
Where pieces of glacier calve off or fall off and into the water. And it looks like a tiny little piece. We were actually on a cruise ship, probably 1,000 feet away, and that chunk was probably the size of a house.
Wow, that's amazing. So that's when these big icebergs that fall down, and here it's saying that there's been one that's been as big as the state of Rhode Island. That is really amazing. Icebergs come in various colors, and an iceberg's color can tell us a lot about what it's made of or where it comes from. So white icebergs have lots of bubbles inside. Blue icebergs are very dense. Greenish-black icebergs may have calved off the bottom of a glacier. Darkly striped icebergs carry moraine debris from the glacier. Yeah, so their colors, you could see basically where they're coming from, and there's just so much natural aspects of Alaska to take in. It's amazing. Is that a bear?
That is a bear.
Did you see that?
That was probably less than 100 feet away. We saw a lot of moose, a lot of bear,
wow.
a lot of elk.
How amazing is that? So this is a grizzly bear. The grizzly bear is known as the North American brown bear. And most adult female weigh about 290 pounds. So they go up to 400 pounds. I'm waving. Oh, nobody can see me. Okay. And the males weigh 400 to 800 pounds. They average a total length of 6.5 feet with an average shoulder height of 3.3 feet, and newborns weigh less than 1 pound. There are currently about 55,000 wild grizzly bears in North America, with 30,000 residing in Alaska. They hibernate for 5 to 7 months each year and can gain 400 pounds just before going into hibernation. Wow, what a magnificent animal that is. Were you scared?
Not really.
Okay. Were you in a vehicle of some sort?
No, we weren't. We were just walking on the side there. But, wow. You know, you don't realize how much in risk you are unless you realize.
Right in front of a bear. Wow, that's great. Okay, so this is the summer solstice. Was this what you were talking about a little bit before? This is in mid-June year, the summer solstice arrives, and there are 23 plus hours of daylight in the Denali area, and the sun barely peaks down below the horizon and quickly rises. So what that means is there's never barely night.
That was probably 2 minutes before sunset, and it's also the same picture 2 minutes after sunset when it's rising again.
Wow. What do people do there to sleep?
And the hotels and the inns that we were at, they all had what's called blackout shades.
Mm-hmm.
They're all very, so you can close them and get the room very dark. But many places stay open till 10, 11, 12 o'clock at night. That wouldn't normally, because people are up because it's nice out. Especially that time of year. We happened to be there when they were having a heat wave, and it was in the 50s and 60s, and they don't have air conditioning, they don't know, or heating, and they don't have those kind of temperature controls, and they never seen that type of temperature before.
Wow, that is wild to me, to just think of like a very long day. How were you able to, did you find your internal clock adjusted well?
We were traveling almost every day on buses, trains, or cars, so we kind of were so busy we didn't even realize it.
And you must have been tired anyway from a full day.
Well, we
of
spent
things,
a week touring on land, and then we went on the cruise for a week. So when we got to the cruise, we got to relax and get to a normal schedule.
That's good. Wow, that is amazing. Our next slide is heli hiking.
Heli hiking.
Heli hiking. It's a recreational activity in which a helicopter is used to access remote areas of the backcountry for hiking that would not normally be accessible. Wow. So you follow your tour guide on an adventure hike above the tree line with sweeping views of Denali's rolling hills, tundra ridgelines, and you can learn more about animal tracks, interpreting the flora and fauna, while also keeping your eyes out, as we saw, for bears and heard about moose and also sheep.
Right.
A lot of sheep.
And if you look at the picture on the bottom left, that's actually a little tiny bird's nest burrowed in the ground.
Yeah, the bottom picture right there, that little hole, you can see the eggs in there actually.
Yep.
That's amazing. Did they know what kind of bird?
I'm sure they did. The guide was amazing. He knew everything about everything, but don't remember from 20 years ago.
Those are a lot of rolling hills. That's amazing.
And you're in the middle of there's no roads there. There's nothing there, and they just take you out for 20 minutes in a helicopter and just drop you down. And 4 hours later, they radio back saying, "This is where we are.
Wow.
Pick us up."
So that's right. So right before this, you were in a helicopter to get to this location.
Correct.
That's amazing. Then, so this is our next slide. We have humpback whales outside of the Hubbard Glacier. And the humpback whale is a species of baleen whale with adults ranging in length from 39 to 52 feet and weighing about 28 to 33 tons. The humpback whale has a distinctive body shape, long pectoral fins, and a knobbly head. It's known for breaching and other distinctive surface behaviors, making it popular with whale watchers. The males produce a complex song lasting 10 to 20 minutes, which they repeat for hours at a time, and all the males in a group will produce the same song, which is different each season. Its purpose is not clear, though it may help induce females. Humpback whales typically migrate up to 16,000 miles each year. They feed in polar waters and migrate to tropical or subtropical waters to breed and give birth. And they eat a lot of krill, small fish, and they have a diverse repertoire of feeding methods, which include a bubble net technique. Is that where they create like a bubble with their...
Yeah, it's amazing. They swim around under the water in a circle, and through their spout holes, they create air bubbles, which kind of trap the fish into this bubble net. And then two or three of the whales come up from below, and they open their big mouths, and they just grab all the fish they can find.
That's amazing.
It's amazing to see.
Did you see it?
Yes, we did see it.
Oh my gosh. And so you're in a boat.
We're in a boat probably maybe 100, 200 yards away.
And they're just big creatures. Wow. That is amazing. There's a lot of great animal and wildlife in Alaska to see. And this next picture is the bubble net feeding.
Right. It's hard to see, but you could see the little spouts of water coming up in a circle.
Oh my God,
they're all underneath the water, and they're just spinning around. And then one or two just come right up from the middle and just pop right up. Unfortunately, couldn't get a good picture of that.
You can kind of see it off in the distance there. I didn't imagine that the bubbles actually come out from the water.
Yep.
So you can visually see it. That's amazing. David basically explained what the bubble net feeding is. It's a cooperative, and they work together. I think that's really cool. They're working together to create these bubbles so that they can feed in a group. That's awesome. And again, they're eating krill, salmon, and they're using their blowholes to create this net of bubbles. Fabulous. And then this is our last slide, I believe.
Right, that's a long-distance version of Denali. That's Denali in the background. We were stopped on the side of the road at a restaurant. And one of the things I didn't write about, but is amazing, is the number and the size of mosquitoes in Alaska is amazing. Every time we stop, the whole car was just covered around with mosquitoes the size of big dragonflies.
Oh my gosh,
Yes,
they're that big?
They're huge.
Oh, I don't know.
So they could, so sometimes when you got outside, you couldn't spend more than a minute or two, and you had to get back in the car or go into the store.
Oh my gosh. You know, I would still go to Alaska, I think. I just thank you for the warning.
Beautiful.
Wow. I would go. I'm terrified of most bugs, and dragonflies, and a combination of dragonfly and mosquito would terrify me. But I think I would go because this looks amazing. What do you eat in Alaska?
A lot of salmon.
Yeah.
A lot of salmon jerky or beef jerky and things like that. Dried things that they store and they can make for to save in the weather. Other than that, it was just regular tourist food.
That's great. Wow. So this has been, we'll take a moment, take a deep breath in. Welcome back from your travels. I want to thank David for joining us today to kind of give us an inside peek of where he was and his vantage point and how he took these pictures. I don't know about you guys, but I'm sold on going to Alaska, but I definitely enjoyed traveling with you all today. David, thank you for joining us.
Thanks for having me. And thanks. Great to share this with the residents. I'm sure people that live here have some experience and should hear about as well.
Yeah, please call us. Give us a call if you have any suggestions for where we should go on an armchair travel, or if you have any comments or about today, any feedback about today's travel. Let us know how you liked Alaska. Our positive news story for today is going to be just this whole travel. We spent a lot of time in Alaska and learning so much about it, so I hope you guys all enjoyed that. Today, you can tune in later today on Channel 8. We have Song Celebration coming up very soon with Claire at 11:15. Art History is taking place at 1:30. And today's Miriam's Well will be canceled, will be off air, so tune in next week for our Miriam's Well. As always, don't forget you can catch this episode of Good Morning Hebrew Home on Channel 88 at 6:30, or as always, you can catch all of them and rewatch all of the Armchair Travels or this one again on YouTube. So join us tomorrow. We have Wendy Steinberg for Wendy Wednesday. And once again, this has been your host, joined here today with David Finkelstein. Olivia Cohen here with Good Morning Hebrew Home. We will see you guys tomorrow, same time, same place, same channel. Cohen out.